Hello and welcome to another video. I hope you're doing well, and today we're going to be looking at which deal analysis tool is more user friendly, which one is more accessible for a new Amazon seller. So if you're a beginner and you're wondering which one is going to be the best one for you to get started with, that's what we're going to look at in this video. If you want a full breakdown of the comparison of features between SellerAmp and BuyBotPro, that will happen in another video, don't worry. But right now we're going to look at it from a beginner's viewpoint as to the user interface, how comfortable and easy it is to use, and the help resources that are available to you, and we'll be looking at price points as well. So we're going to start off with telling you a little bit of the background behind SAS and BuyBotPro. So actually, BuyBotPro came first. Before BuyBotPro, there wasn't really anything in the deal analysis space like it, where you could get one click instant results for everything you need to know about a product and then some. So BuyBotPro was first in 2018. In the following year, you then have SellerAmp that came along to basically kind of like mirror a lot of BuyBotPro. Not saying all of it, but there's a number of features that are similar between both softwares. And often, if you've actually been following any news about SellerAmp and BuyBotPro and what features are available, BuyBotPro often will implement features first. Obviously, it's the first deal analysis tool, so BuyBotPro is basically the leader of innovation in the deal analysis space. So most of the features that BuyBotPro, and again, it's not all of them, but there's a great number of features in here whereby SellerAmp have made kind of like their own version, but only after BuyBotPro have done it. So one of the most recent things, for example, that has happened is SellerAmp has actually introduced a repricing integration with BQL to basically export listings that you've been analyzing through to the repricing tool, so that way they're set up for repricing in advance. BuyBotPro has had this for such a long time. They've had it for years. They've had their integration with Profit Protect Pro for a long time, like years, and SellerAmp have only just done something similar. So that's what I'm talking about. Things like that, where there's a feature in here, and it's not for every single feature, but you'll find that there's like a bit of mirroring going on. But yeah, in terms of like innovation and who came first, it was BuyBotPro in 2018. But I'm not knocking SellerAmp whatsoever. I just wanted to give you a bit of context as to, you know, the origin of both softwares. So let's get right into it. Now, SellerAmp, it's quite simplistic, is my summary of it. So let's go ahead and enter in a buy price just to get some of these other fields populated. So yeah, you've got some quick information about the product right there, which is a summary of what you have in the analysis. You've got your profit calculator, rank and prices, any alerts for the product. So it'll let you know, there's no known IP issues. It's unlikely a private label product. It's not multiple. There's no variations. What size is it? You've got the sales charts in here as well. You can link up Google Sheets to export the product to Google Sheets. You've got an insight into the European marketplaces just to see how the item's performing there, in case it might be better to sell in an EU marketplace. You have the offers on the listing, so these are other sellers, competitors, and you can see, what they're up to in terms of their pricing, their stock, and so forth. So you've got all of the core essentials of performing an analysis here in SellerAmp. In terms of usability and how accessible it is, how comfortable it is to use, all of the sections are in their own tabs like this, and if you want them, you can just open them up like so. You can actually quickly navigate to certain sections by clicking on these little icons at the top, which I quite like about it, to be honest. So if I very quickly wanted to check out if there's any IP issues, I could just head right there. Another thing that you can do as well is customize everything within the SellerAmp panel. So it looks like this. This is in the SellerAmp settings, so you can actually rearrange where everything appears. So I could move Google Sheets above the notes and tags, for example. I can turn off the reverse search function if I didn't want it, or turn it on if I did. So you can actually customize the way that it looks. Not only that, you can actually rearrange where the panel sits on the screen. So to the left, to the right, you can have it like this as well, where it's miniaturized, but it has a separate scroll to the rest of the page. The only thing that I'm not too keen on is the fact that if we were to go to another section of the SellerAmp Chrome extension, we can't like easily get back to the analysis unless we were to go and click back on the actual page itself. Let's do that again. There we go. So we had to click back a couple of times just to get back to the analysis panel. So there's like no in-house way of getting back to where you were. So yeah, in terms of contact, let's go ahead and click on this. You can email them. So in terms of points of contact, you can email them from this button right here. You've got your settings and so forth. And then in terms of help resources that you actually have within SellerAmp itself, I mean, unless you were to email the support team about something, there isn't much in here to really help you out. There's a couple of tool tips when you hover over certain things. So like the alerts right here, there's a couple of tool tips which give you a breakdown. But other than that, there is a lack of them, I find. So if you're trying to understand what a certain something does, if you wanted to remind yourself, of course, this is more applicable for you if you're a beginner. As you get more advanced and you learn the tool, you likely won't need tool tips as much. But, you know, for starting out, you know, and you're trying to find out what's what, it's just helpful to have those sorts of things in there. And there isn't that many in SellerAmp. They do have a YouTube channel. It looks like things get uploaded quite frequently. It looks like at least once a week. It looks to be a lot of online arbitrage and such, which it makes up the YouTube channel. It looks like as well that there's external sort of like influencers, if you like, in the Amazon space that make the videos for them predominantly. You also have a TikTok channel as well, and it's more or less the same thing here. And this, from the looks of it, is mostly retail arbitrage. So if you're looking for quick tips, you'd be fine if it was retail arbitrage. But if it came to like online arbitrage or like use of SellerAmp, the extension, then you know there's not a lot there on the TikTok channel. Something else I wanted to point out as well was the chart. So the charts are really useful for basically understanding the history of an item, how well it sells. What I do like about this is that you can actually open this up in a new window and view it in its own window. So, you know, you can check them out in this sort of way, but you can actually search for products here as well. So if I was to look up Lego, for example, it would then find me a list of the results. So if I wanted to go ahead and analyze something, you know, in this kind of way, you do have SellerAmp as like its own site, if you like, to do your analysis. So I think that's pretty cool. I think that's for reading stuff as well. If you don't like things miniaturized, then this is quite good. So yeah, in terms of pricing, SellerAmp is a bit cheaper, $19.95 a month. So yeah, you have 14-day free trial in here. You get 1,000 lookups per month if you're on this one, and you can have one phone app installation. In the UK, it's $13.95 plus VAT. So it's more or less the same sort of thing here. One phone app install, 1,000 lookups, 14-day free trial. So yeah, in terms of pricing, it is a bit cheaper than BuyBotPro, but I mean, as you can see there's not as many features just at a glance as what you have in BuyBotPro. And yeah, as I say, BuyBotPro came first. They lead innovation, so there's more features in there. The YouTube channel is great for online arbitrage. TikTok's great for retail arbitrage. So I guess if you alternate between the two, you've got a nice spectrum covered. And yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at BuyBotPro. So BuyBotPro came out first. It's the first deal analysis tool of its kind. Click on analyze, boom, you've got BuyBotPro Island, which is like a quick way of viewing the analysis, so you get a summary of the important factors of said analysis. I like that it's separate to the rest of the panel, because you can look at this first, and then you can decide, oh, do I want to look at the rest of the panel? Yes, no, maybe so. In terms of tooltips, I mean, you can see that right there. For most things in BuyBotPro, it tells you what exactly it is, what it does. The alerts is a traffic light system, so it's very clearly, red, orange, green. Which one's which one's good, which one's not so good. You can very clearly see it there. And if you want a breakdown of what exactly it means, you can hover over it and it tells you. The details, it looks a little something like this. I mean, personally, the layout seems a bit friendlier in BuyBotPro. You can still, put this on different bits of the Amazon page. You have a separate scroll option right here. In terms of customizing the sections, you can do the same as what you had in SellerAmp there, so minimize and open and back up. You can also rearrange and move the different sections, turn them on, turn them off, depending on if you want them or not. If you do turn off too many or move around too many and you're like, oh, I want to start again, you can reset it back to the default. I like that it has the confidence score, so especially if you're getting started out and you're not sure what exactly to make of a product, BuyBotPro actually gives you its opinion and tells you what it thinks of the product. It also gives you a suggested purchase quantity as well. So if this was a product whereby we got a good confidence score, it would tell me how many it thinks we should buy based on the analysis. So, BuyBotPro chips in and tells you what it thinks. So it's nice to have a second opinion, and this is BuyBotPro giving it. So I like that about it. As you can see, there's a bit more in here than what we had with SellerAmp, so like buy box statistics, for example, if you want to see like the buy box possession rates and such, averages, IOSS stuff. You've got the VA functionality in here, so eventually if you were to ever get any virtual assistants, you can actually get them using BuyBotPro with you, and you can monitor what they're up to with the VA toolbox. You've got wholesale scanning functionality in here, so if you're starting out and you actually are in the wholesale game, if you click on this, you can actually upload wholesale sheets and it will analyze everything on the spreadsheet, so you don't have to analyze everything there one by one. So yeah, I mean, in terms of the way that it looks, I personally prefer this. In terms of the help resources out there, BuyBotPro's got 24/7 support. You can reach them via a chat function, or you can email info@buybotpro.com, and it is 24/7. In terms of pricing, there's 3 different price plans, so it ranges from about £30 a month all the way through to 120. But what makes these different is the amount of device licenses you have. So with SellerAmp, you're restricted to like 1 download on mobile on the cheaper plan, whereas on the cheapest plan here you have 5 device licenses. So that's 5 devices in general that you can have BuyBotPro or the retail arbitrage app BuyBot go on. You can then have 10 device licenses on the next plan, and then 32. So this would probably be if you have a big business or a lot of virtual assistants. You also have suspension safeguard on the next plan up, which is basically like taking out insurance. So if you have any issues whereby you might get suspended on Amazon, hopefully you don't, but just in case you were, if you have any particular issues with Amazon themselves, this is like insurance. So you can reach out to the suspension safeguard team and they'll help you with the Amazon problems that you may have. And I mean, look there, suspension safeguard, that's covered in this plan. They give you professionally written templates to help you draft a plan of action to help you with whatever Amazon problem you're facing. They'll give you hints and tips on how to best manage your suspension and your Amazon account's health. Expert one-on-one help with your Amazon account as well. So that's covered in the suspension safeguard. In terms of like help resources, in terms of videos and such, there is actually training videos in BuyBotPro. So if you click on that, it takes you to a separate page whereby you can actually view training videos. If you have any virtual assistants as well and you don't particularly fancy training them. If you go to VA Manager login right here, there is actually a full-on course that you can access where there's a section for you and a section for your VA where it teaches you how to, you know, recruit VAs, how to manage them and such, how to set up the VA functionalities, and then a section you give to your virtual assistant which teaches them how to use BuyBotPro so you don't have to. The YouTube channel is made up of all manner of different things. So there's seller interviews on there. There's different little courses, like this one is it's a how to get started with wholesale. There's things about retail arbitrage, online arbitrage, general Amazon stuff. There's little shorts as well. So there's a nice range on there, and it also is the same for the TikTok, a nice range of all kinds of different content on there. So it helps you out in multiple respects. If you're wondering about the pricing in the US, it is $39.95 through to $129.95. But again, the difference being the device activations and whether or not you have suspension safeguard on the plan or not. So in terms of like accessibility and which one's better to use for a beginner, I would definitely say BuyBotPro. There's a lot more help there. I mean, just looking at it, that is much simpler to understand. Like the way that it's laid out, it seems a lot more friendlier. I mean, I guess it depends on what your personal standpoint is. I mean, SellerAmp is very simplistic, but I find it a bit like bunched together. Whereas, you know, with BuyBotPro, it's a little bit more spaced out. It's clearer. It's not as, you know, in your face, if that makes sense. There's more functions in there. They lead innovation. So, you know, new features will come in here more often and before SAS. But yeah, I mean, if you like for example, if you don't like the traffic light system, you might prefer this with the alerts. You get the big charts. Obviously, you have like the SAS site. I think something like that might be coming soon to BuyBotPro from my understanding of the news and updates. But yeah, SAS have got this big version of it, and of course the charts that you can view in full. BuyBotPro's charts, they appear on screen like this, so you have them there in the same place. You don't have to actually go anywhere else. So yeah, there's pros and cons. And of course SellerAmp is a little bit cheaper, but with BuyBotPro you pay that bit more and you get more with it, so you know it does make up for that price. But yeah, for me personally, I'd say as a beginner, if you're trying to get started out and understand things, BuyBotPro is a lot friendlier. Hopefully this helps you out. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you soon.